Okay guys, here we go with hints to the first homework sheet. First question's a wee BODMAS question for you. Remember, BODMAS says that we have to do the multiplication before the addition and subtraction. So the first stage I'm going to do with this question is 3.6 times 4. I'm going to get the answer to that, and then I'm going to add on the 12.12. Second question. Now you need to be careful, you need to read this one carefully. Bus prices increase by 5% each year. If they were £2 last year, how much will they be next year? So we're talking about last year, then we're talking about this year, and then we're talking about next year. Okay, so you've got to be careful how many calculations you do. So last year they were priced at £2. This year they're 5% more than that. So you know how to work out 5%. Okay, we get 10% first of all, and then we get 5%. If you add that on, you'll get a new price for this year. And then basically you have to repeat the process again. What's 10%? What's 5%? Add it on. And then you'll get your final total for the bus prices. Next question, number 3, the fraction question. Okay, so the first one is just an add and subtract. So we deal with the whole numbers first of all. Okay, so we're going to deal with the 3, the 4 and the 2. That's going to give us 3 add 4 is 7, take away 2 is 5. And then we're going to deal with the fractions. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what's the number that's in the 4 times table, the 6 times table and the 3 times table? Hopefully you've worked that out as the number 12. So all you need to do now is get the new top numbers and do the calculation. For the second question, remember, when we multiply fractions, first thing we need to do is turn them top heavy. So you're going to take each fraction in turn and turn it top heavy. So 3 3/4 top heavy is 4 times 3 add 3, which is 12 add 3, 15 over 4. Do the same with the second fraction. Once you've got to that stage there, the next thing we need to do is a bit of cancelling, and then you'll have your final answer. Question 4 in the equation. Problem with this question is we've got x's on the left hand side and we've got x's on the right hand side. So the first stage is to take the 2x from this side over. Okay, how do we do that? Well, basically we just get rid of it. So if I'm taking 2x's away there, I need to take 2x's away on this side. Then I deal with the positive 3. That needs to move over. How do I do that? I then take away 3 from each side. Once you've done all of that, you'll have so many x's equals a number, so you can work out what x is. Question 5 is working with some integers, some positive and negative numbers. Again, BODMAS comes into play. So the first stage is going to do the multiplication. Now you should know what a negative times a negative is. So you'll get that answer, add on 4, and you're done. The second one, we've got 3 subtract negative 1, add negative 1. Now if you subtract negative 1, you know what that is. So 3 subtract negative 1, get the answer to that. Add negative 1, get the answer to that. Do your calculation. Question's finished. Question 6. So you've either copied or stuck this diagram in your book. There's a few angles we can put in straight away. We should know what this one here is. That should then lead to what these two are. Okay. We also know that this section here of 110 and these ones can map over here, which means they also map down here, which means they also map over here. Okay, the problem you've got is, how do we find this one here? Okay, if we use corresponding angles, then you should know that this angle here, which I've highlighted in yellow, is the same as this angle here. So once you've worked out this top angle, you should be able to work out this missing one here. Then the three angles in a triangle added up to 180 should allow you to put all the angles in the question. Well, and finally, question 7. Okay, it's a bit wordy, there's lots of words, lots of numbers, lots of times. Let's have a wee look at this one and break it down. The time in India is 5.5 hours ahead of us, the time in New York is 5 hours behind us. A plane leaves New York to fly to India at 22:45. So I've written down here 22:45. That's the time it leaves New York. Now remember, what we said was that New York was 5 hours behind London. So it might leave New York at that time, 22:45, but it's actually leaving 5 hours before that. So you work out the time it's really leaving New York. And then add on the journey time. And the journey time is 7 hours 40 minutes. And once you've done that, that'll give you the time that you've actually reached London. From London, it then flies another 8 hours 25. However, remember, India is 5.5 hours ahead of us. So we need to accommodate the 5.5. I'll let you work out how we do that, and then you should eventually come up with what the time in India is. That's us finished.